Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Ainsworth, and we are going to get into our sixth lesson here in our number theory unit. And we're going to take what we learned in our last lesson on two-digit subtraction by rounding up and extend it to three-digit subtraction. So the same idea as last lesson, but we're going to go three digits now, okay? Same idea. So if you want, you can take out lesson 5 because you can refer to that and just take a look at your notes there. No bar, no traditional right to left stuff right there, anything like that. We're going to go three-digit subtraction by rounding up. So let's go through a few examples. Since I'm not there with you today, only virtually here, let's go through it. So let's take a look at the number 747 and let's subtract 598. All right, now to compute that in your head easily, you just have to learn how to round up. Okay, and notice that the number that we're subtracting, 598, is very close to 600. So what we're going to do is round 598. Restate that there. There we go, 598 up, all right, to 600 because it's easier to subtract 600 from 747 than it is 598 because it doesn't require any borrowing or any fancy mathematics. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 747 and subtract not 598 but 600 because it's easier. However, what we just did though is we subtracted too much. We subtracted too much because we rounded 598 up to 600. So we subtracted too many. So what you have to do is adjust it and add it back in. All right, that's all you have to do. You got to worry about that adjustment though. You got to do that, otherwise you're not going to get the correct answer. All right, now 700 minus 600 is 100. Got to look from left to right. Look in the hundreds. 700 minus 600 is 100, but you also have that 47 there. So 747 minus 600 is 147, and then you simply add 2 to get 149. Notice that doesn't take any borrowing or any fancy mathematics. Very, very simple method. All right, now if you wanted to check, okay, and do it the old way, all right, you could take 747 and subtract, actually, let me bring it down here so you can see my borrowing. So 747 minus 598, harder to do in your head this way. You got to borrow from the 4, make it a 3, carry the 1. 17 minus 8 is 9. You got to remember the 3. Then we got 9 minus, or 3 minus 9 is not possible, so you got to borrow again. And 13 minus 9 is 4. 6 minus 5 is 1. And notice the answer is the same. But doing all this in your head, all that borrowing, not good. So we're not going to do it this way. All right, we're going to do it the easy way. We're going to round the number, subtract a little bit too much, adjust it by adding it back in. You got to make sure you do this adjustment right here and make sure you get the correct answer. All right, let me do it a few more times since I'm not with you guys. I'm here virtually here, so I can't practice with you. So one example is never enough. So let me show it just one more time. Let me pick a different number, like 600 and I don't know, 84, let's say, minus 292. All right. Now, so no borrowing, no right to left subtraction or anything. So we're going to round. And notice this right here, this number is close to 300. So we're going to round 292 up, all right, to 300. Now 292, if you round it up, you got to add 8 to it. So that's my adjustment already. I already know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 684, we're going to subtract 300. It's easier. I can do that in my head. Anybody should be able to do that. Because 600 minus 300 is 300, and you got that 84 there, so it's 384. But keep in mind, you subtracted too much. You subtracted 8 too much, because we rounded 292 up to 300. That right there is a plus 8. So you have to add that in. Just like up here in the first one here, 598 to 600, that's a plus 2. There's your adjustment. Okay, so you subtract first. 384 minus 300 is 384. That was easy. Plus 8. You got to be over 384, right? Got to be over 380. You got to be 392 because 380 plus 4 plus 12 is, 4 plus 8 is 12. So you got to add the 12 to 80. That's 392. All right, you can check it by subtraction, okay, with barn. But I wouldn't suggest that because I know it right. Okay, so let's try it a few more times. Give you, 4 examples, and then you guys can pass out your worksheets and try it on your own. All right, so just a few more times, just to make sure that you guys follow me and the light bulb's on. All right, so let's take a look at 579 minus 180. Oh no, not 589. Let's go 573 minus 589. So change your example problem right there. All right, so no borrowing here. No right to left, no borrowing. So what we're going to do is we're going to round this number up. Now, 189 is close to 200. So you're going to round the 189 up, okay? Up to its closest, easy value, and that's close to 200. So we're going to round it up to 200. The question is, how many do you add to 189 to get to 200? So if you just count up, 189 to 190 is 1, plus 10 more is 200. So this is an adjustment of 11. You have to add 11 to 189 to get to 200. You need to know that in your head. So you're going to subtract 200 first. So 573 minus 200, because it's easier to do that. And then you have to adjust it back because you added, or you subtracted, 11 too many because you rounded up. So you got to add that back in. So mentally what you do is you take 500 minus 200 first, which is 300, but you get that 73 there, so it's got to be 373. And then adding 11 back in, that's easy. 70 and 10 is 80. 3 and 1 is 4, so 384. Okay, so 384. And as you get used to this technique, adding left to right, as I just did, 300, and then I see the 70 and 10 is 80. 3 and 1 is 4, 384. This gets easier and easier day after day as you do it, and pretty soon you won't need paper and pencil, and you won't need a calculator. You can look at this problem right here and just get an answer in your mind. All right, which is the goal. You guys, what I'm trying to do is get you better, faster mentally, and not dependent upon the calculator, okay, or not dependent even on pencil and paper, where you can just see a problem and know what the answer is in your mind. That's your goal. All right. So one last time. So let's take, it could be anything. So let's take the number in the 600. So 634 minus 195. Okay. So let's say that. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract too much. So we're going to round up. And notice that 195 is close to 200. So we're going to round 195 up to 200. All right, and subtract it. Now again, take a look at it. If you round 195 up to 200, that means you're subtracting 5 too many. So there's your adjustment again. So you're going to have to take 634 minus the 200 now, because we're going to subtract too much, because it's easier to do that in our head. But then you have to add in 5 because you subtracted 5 too many. So here we go from left to right. 600 minus 200 is 400, but we have that 34 sitting around, so 434, and then add 5, that's easy. Excuse me, I was supposed to write 34. So 434, add 5, you get 439. That right there is a whole lot easier to do in your head compared to borrowing and carrying those numbers up there. Okay, so give that a shot. It's time to pass out the worksheets and get some independent practice. And like I said in all my other lessons here, once your group is done and your group is 3 or 4, you guys are responsible to turn around to each other and check all your practice problems. And you've got 14 on this one. Each one should take about 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So half to a minute, something like that. Half a minute to a minute. So no more than let's say 7 to 14 minutes on this exercise. So pass them out. Get started here, and I'll see you in my next lesson on lesson 7. This is Mr. Ains. We're signing off. Bye-bye.